Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lunch and Life. I am Robin Joy Myers, and unfortunately, my co host and cohort, Sharon Holland Gelfand, is not with us today. She is a little bit under the weather. So I am here representing us. So you have to deal with both of me for both of us. So, um, so we don't have Sharon here, but as you know, she's a functional nutritionist. I'm going to actually get rid of my phone. I was trying to see if YouTube was on, which it is. So, you know her introduction. Myself, Robin Joy Myers. I am a molecular geneticist and joy architect, and I help women fall in love with themselves really over the age of 50. So really you can thrive through life's changes and find your true joy. And to me, joy means just own you. We deal with so many life's changes, but it's about prioritizing ourselves. And Sharon and I, our goal for December, which is coming and going so quickly, we're already in the second week of December, is really to how do we get through December strong and 2020 as we want, but not end it like everything that has to get done, and get rid of the word resolutions and finish 2020 strong and set up 2021 the way we want to set it up. You know, what do we want to have happen? Because during this time, we have time to reflect, time to plan, time to really create what we want to create. So for this week, we were going to talk about actually Alone But Not Lonely, which was my book. I was just on Hallmark yesterday, Home and Family TV, which was an amazing experience. I will get the segment and I'll be able to share with everyone on my media, but I get to laugh at myself a little bit. If anyone had seen it, you'll see that my legs were across. My princess pose didn't really turn out to be my princess pose that I wanted, but let's talk about Alone But Not Lonely, because I think it's two very important meanings to the word alone. And I really want to be able to talk about that with you, because as we are dealing with this time of year, anyways, people deal with loneliness and isolation with the holidays. Now, especially with COVID, and especially as our numbers are increasing, people are not going to be able to travel as much, see their loved ones. In fact, the numbers are increasing. And it's really going to be that personal decision as to how are you going to interact with people. So how do we deal with that? So let's talk about the loneliness and isolation part first. So the way to deal with loneliness, and frankly, I just want you guys to hear some stats. Loneliness is one of the biggest health crises, believe it or not. As big of a health crisis as obesity. It actually can increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, and increase death by 26%. So loneliness is really a crisis at hand. So how do we deal with that and keep our physical and our mental well-being in check? Let's use social media to our advantage. And one thing that you can do, for instance, is use FaceTime, use Zoom, use what you have to its advantage. So if you're cooking holiday meals, if you want to connect that way, do your favorite dish, right? Set up cooking with your parents, your sister, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles. You know, make the holiday cookies, make the gingerbread houses, make the potato latkes. Do something like that and be able to include your family or those loved ones that are near and far. Zoom over dinner, reach out to the friends and families, or even those neighbors that you are not going to come out and you're not going to have the neighborhood party. Everyone get on a Zoom where you can, whether it's open the bottle of wine or whatever the sparkles of the night will be, those treats, and, you know, have some sort of dinner planned, or some sort of thing. In my old neighborhood, we used to do what was called progressive dinner, and one house would do appetizers and one house would do um, the main course and one would do dessert. And so it takes a little bit of planning ahead of time, but you can plan that. So maybe the recipe goes out for what is going to be that appetizer, and everybody has that in their house, and you just kind of progress along. And the other thing to do is really send out what those games are going to be. It could be card games, it could be online card games, it could be um, the physical games that are sent ahead of time. My family is obsessed with Monopoly Deal. I can't reach it, it's right over there, which is now a card game. We're also obsessed with online poker. Usually we play it for food, candy, really, but that's what we do. We play it, and we did it over Thanksgiving because my oldest, who lives in Austin, Texas, couldn't get home. So we set it up that way. But if you do it now, it's only December 10th, you can actually get the games and get the gifts and plan it all ahead of time. Secret Santas is a great way to still connect, right? So as a family, pick your Secret Santa or your Hanukkah, whatever it would be. I'm Jewish and I can't even think of what secret Hanukkah it would be. But anyways, pick those people and send that gift around. And so try and do that connection. Phone calls work as well, but it's nice to be able to sit face to face. Yes, it's going to be different this year, but reaching out and connecting with people, it's also an opportunity to reach out to people that you haven't spoken to. It's not, it might feel awkward because you haven't spoken to someone in a while, but you can still reach out and talk to that person or people or groups of people, because that's what everyone needs to do. And so those connections are more important than ever. They really are. Now, that's the loneliness and isolation of being alone, and that's what we want to avoid. Now, alone time of solitude is so immensely important, because not only is it necessary, it's really mandatory, because in that time of solitude is really your time for personal growth and development. We don't take the time necessarily to really sit in our own stuff and learn who we are, and sit and have those uncomfortable and difficult conversations with ourselves. What are our likes and what are our dislikes? And it really is something that is a muscle that has to be built, has to be trained. And now we have the time to do it. We're not running out to get kids to a school bus, or from what I hear, most people are not running to offices. So use this time wisely, where begin a morning routine. You've heard us talk about this before. You've heard us talk about my 5-minute morning routine. Do with it as you want and then build on it. It's so important to learn to trust yourself. And all of those building blocks start with, who are you and what do I like? And learning to truly trust your judgment. That doesn't happen unless you kind of sit and find out what you like and what you don't like and build on those things. And just be very intentional. When you are so busy in running day-to-day life, we don't have time to sit and learn who we are and what makes us tick. We are running and we're always doing and we're always taking care of others. We sometimes have to sit and quiet that noise and spend that quiet time with us. And in fact, that's when you can turn off the social media, and that's when you can turn off the TV, and that's when you can read and just have that quiet time and turn off the noise. That's just as important. So it's really empowering yourself to be your best self. It's really taking time to focus on who you are and what you need from life, and really surrounding yourself with the people that support you in doing that. So that's truly the difference of alone time of solitude and then alone time of the loneliness and isolation, and how important it is to differentiate those two. Part of our goal in December is to really set you up for success for ending the year. Even though December is flying by, we still have, it's the 10th, we still have 21 days left to get things done. And getting things done can still happen. We can still plan on finishing things and creating things that they're ready to launch for 2021, and use this time really wisely. Set your quarterly calendar up for 2021. What are those benchmarks you want to hit? And this way, it's not necessarily, I'm waiting for New Year's Day to get started. This way, when New Year's rolls around, you're ready to roll. I don't think life is going to necessarily change. We're still going to be sort of in this lockdown. I just came back from California, which is really in a lockdown. So set yourself up. Set yourself up for success. It's all possible. So, as far as that all goes, that is what is going on in Sharon and my world. Next week, we're going to talk about sort of what are those nourishing foods, knowing how our brain works and taking the time for our brain is really important, and decluttering that. But how can we also nourish our bodies and nourish with healthy foods and healthy choices, and also indulge? And that's part of the holidays, right? Indulging in things that we want. So I encourage you all to join us next week. I am going to make this a little shorter than normal, but Sharon, I hope you feel better. I love unpacking lunch with you. I do miss you because unpacking lunch alone is not as much fun. But I hope you all have a great week. I hope you all do take some time to start your own morning routine, start your time of enjoying time of solitude, enjoying the time to learn and trust yourself, and reach out to at least one person every day. If that's a goal that you can set right now, from now until the end of the year, make this a new pattern and a new habit. Reach out to somebody that you haven't spoken to, that you can just say, hey, how are you doing? Happy holidays. I hope you're well and you're safe. So make that a goal. All right. Until next week, Sharon will hopefully be back, and I will be back, and we look forward to unpacking lunch together as we talk about decluttering your mind and your body, and continuing our journey on closing December strong and starting 2021 stronger. And thanks for joining me for Lunch and Life. Take care.